Hi everybody, it's Jan from the mountain, and there's not an awful lot to see of my view this morning. It's very damp and drizzly. Today is Boxing Day and I'm just clearing up some of the table decorations because we like to have a raclette on Boxing Day evening. I've been doing it for a couple of years now, so that has to sit in the middle of the table, so I have to just clear up some of our table decorations and make room for the raclette later in the evening. Everything's getting tangled up in the wire. My son's installed his computer already, but we'll tidy that up too before the raclette. Everything will go out again later in the week because my daughter is hosting a meal, a Secret Santa meal. So everything will go back out because it's quite sad to tidy it up so quickly. Mr. Byron Black Cat is showing a lot of interest here. He's so cute. Nearly done. For now, anyway. Oops. I have recently been making some toiletries. I have sensitive skin which flares up every so often, so I make notes of how it went and I write them up in my notebook when I'm satisfied with the procedure. I made a body bar, a solid body bar, a foot bar, and then I even made some lip and blush colour, which I'll show you in a minute how I did all of them. I have had sensitive skin for quite a long time and I often make my own soap because I can control the ingredients that go in and I can make them much more moisturising than the commercial soaps that I've tried. I've recently been using a commercially bought body lotion which isn't as rich as the one I would make. I would make a whipped body cream and it was rich and silky. I haven't made any for a little while because life and events have got in the way just recently, so I was in need of body lotion. I felt that if I bought one it wouldn't do what I wanted, so I thought I'd make a solid bar and a foot bar, and also because I had ingredients left I made some lip colour. All written up now. I'll show you how I did it. This is cocoa butter which I can't open yet, and I have some shea butter here, just a little bit. There we are. The cocoa butter is solid and it's not refined, so it has a slight smell of chocolate, only a slight one. I'm just getting my equipment ready now, and then I can show you how I made it. This is a piece of beeswax I was given by a local beekeeper some years ago. I only need a little bit. It was already processed when he gave it to me. Now I'm just going to melt my ingredients in a bain-marie on a very low heat. We don't want anything to burn. I use an old enamel bowl. The beeswax is quite hard, and it's very cold at the moment in my house. I'll make it cosy later. I find the best way for breaking the beeswax is just to chop it with a meat cleaver and just weigh out the right amount. I put a little bit less beeswax in my mixture if it's winter and a little bit more if it's summer, as it gets very hot here in Italy, as you know, and it can be too soft and melty if I don't put enough wax in the summer. Put the wax in the bowl. I'm just weighing out my cocoa butter now to add. It doesn't have to be exact in weighing out for this sort of thing. I just added some liquid oil there. I used olive oil in my case because it's very, very, very moisturising, but you could use sweet almond oil or any other liquid oil. This is some beeswax that I processed. I was given the raw beeswax. It was like a porridge, and I processed it. There's a little bit of residue on the bottom, but it's a lot lighter than the one that the beekeeper gave me. But as this is for my own use, I don't mind. The final result of the body bars will be a bit darker. I'm just adding here some peppermint oil because this is for the foot bar. It smelled quite strong, but the finished result didn't smell as strong. I pour it when it's melted into a mould, and it's a little heart mould, and just let it cool. This is the residue, or what's left. The little bits at the bottom are little residues that were in the wax. Again, as it's for my personal use, I don't mind, but I'm going to add a small piece. It was less than this. I cut some off of wax that I had processed. It's a bit lighter. So a little bit more olive oil. I did add a small amount of shea butter to my original mixture, and I just topped up the amounts here to make the body bar, which now I'm going to perfume with Rose Otto. It's not coming out awfully easily, so I've got my pipette. Smells quite good. There's a hint of peppermint still there, but it actually combines really nicely with the rose. This is all melted, so poured into the mould now. On the spur of the moment, I decided to make some blush and lip colour. So I've got smaller measurements here with my little measurers. I put wax, some oil to melt. I haven't been able to get a cream blush. I wanted a natural glow sort of blush colour, so I thought I'll just experiment and see what turns out. This is rose ochre or ocre rosé because I bought it from a French outlet, and I thought it might give it a bit of a pinky tone. I'm making a more of a sheer colour. I don't want it anything heavy, so I just have about half a teaspoon of the ochre, rose ochre. I've mixed it in, but I think it's a bit dark, so I'm going to change the tone a little bit by just putting a smidge of yellow ochre in the mixture. It will make it probably a more orangey shade, which is okay. I wanted a bit of glow, so I've got some iridescent gold cosmetic standard mica. This I bought on Amazon. I just wanted a little bit in, just for more of a glow. You can see my hand there, looking a bit blushy because I was trying out the colour. And just mix it all up. I actually poured it into a lid I had. This is the body bar. Again, you can see the wax residue at the bottom. You can put some cosmetic colouring in this. I have done pink ones in the past, but as it's for personal use, I just didn't this time. It really is smooth. I just smooth it on and rub it in, and it's much richer than the commercial body lotions that I have been using recently, and I'm happy to be using my own again now. This is the lip and blush colour. As I mentioned, I just put it into a lid, but you could find an old contact lens case or a small pot with a lid, which will mean you can put it in your bag and carry it with you. It blends in to a nice natural colour, and it actually looks very pretty on. I put it on my lips and I just blend it in my cheeks. I recently knitted a beret or tam o' shanter, and the instructions said to put it on a plate, let it dry because I just sprayed it with water, and then steam. So I'm going to steam it still on the plate with my iron. I knitted this in North Hollander and silk mixed wool that I spun up a few months ago, a little while ago. As you can see, I'm not pressing with the iron, I'm trying to hover, but you can see it kind of pulls in because the steam is shrinking the wool slightly. It does take a little while. It's quite fascinating, really, isn't it? There it is. I need to do the top of it now. It takes quite a while actually, but I'll stop now. And there it is on the plate. I'll show you that in the next video. because I need to let it dry now. This is my recent knitting project. It's a lacy shawl. I didn't want a great big shawl, so I've cut the size down quite a couple of inches, but I just wanted it. I've got some brightly coloured coats and jackets, vintage ones, that I want to just put this over my shoulders to break up the colour near my face, but also to add an extra layer of warmth. Again, this is in North Hollander in silk, so I'll be able to match it with my beret when they're both finished. I'm very pleased with the way it's turned out, and it's a vintage pattern, I believe, so I'll put the link to the pattern below if any of you want to try. Thank you for watching my video today, and please like it if you did, and I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Also hit the notification bell if you'd like to be one of the first to hear about my new videos. See you next time.